Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And today I'm going to be discussing how concerned are women with their biological clock. One more time, how concerned are women with their biological clock? I've got a great story to share from the internet here regarding this. It's just going to blow your mind, but it's going to shed some light regarding a trend that's happening today for many women. Many women feel that, they are being shamed, for not having children by a certain time, or, if women decide to never have children, they're being shamed for that. And my honest opinion regarding this, before I get to that story here, is that it's up to each woman to decide how they want to live their life, whether they want to have kids or not, whether they want to get married or not, whether they want to be career focused or more family focused. And that's what it all boils down to. This is the thing that, in my opinion, a lot of women don't understand, and a lot of men don't understand about women, and it's creating the big confusion. Both men and women need to figure out what they want, and they need to know what they're looking for. And when they put themselves out there in the dating world, they need to find someone that's looking for something similar as they are. For example, if you're a man that wants to get married and have a family, you need to put that out there in your dating profiles. Or at least make women aware that you encounter and start dating that, hey, I'm looking for something serious, long-term that could lead to marriage, and I'm looking for someone that's open to having a family, right? And if she agrees with that, so be it. If not, then she's not the right person for you. That's the way it should be. It should be about communicating what you want. But let's forget about that. Let's talk about, what I'm about to go over here in this article here in a second. Why are women being shamed or bullied, like the article says, regarding having kids and to, take their biological clock into serious consideration? Well, here is the thing, okay? There's not a woman on the planet that wasn't naturally born to want to procreate, have children, and be a mother. Every woman deep within, naturally and biologically, wants to be a mother, whether they decided to be a mother or not, right? That's just how women were made to be. And nowadays, many women are conflicted between having to choose to have a career since they've been liberated and they're independent, or raise a family, right? And sometimes women try to do both, and that doesn't work out. And why doesn't that work out? Well, because here's the thing. If you're a career woman, and let's say you're the CEO of a company, that's going to take so much time away from your family. You're going to be bringing home work with you. You're going to be bringing work home with you. You're going to be on call. You're going to have so much responsibility that it's going to be very difficult for you to find the time, and even if you have the time, to have the energy to come home and take care of your kids, cook dinner, and do all of those things that were once known as traditional aspects, right? So this is what I think women are conflicted with. They're conflicted with, hey, I want to have a family, but I also want to have a career, and it just seems like this is two full-time jobs and I can only handle one. Well, yeah, being a mother is a full-time job until your child is 18, right? Okay. And working a career is a full-time job, right? So in my opinion, I feel that women need to choose. They either need to choose to have a career or a family, or if women are going to work, they should get a part-time career that can allow them to work from home, right? And still raise their kids, while, let's say, the husband goes out and, brings home the bacon, which would make things more of a traditional type of thing, right? So I think what's happening nowadays is that, the traditional household is no longer appreciated by most women. I still believe that most men believe in the traditional type of thing, right? But most women are either not believing that in the traditional thing, or they are just saying, hey, I want to make money. I want to have a career. I want to, be able to, do more than just be a housewife, a homemaker, and having kids. But again, women are naturally and biologically born to reproduce and have a family, right? And women are naturally, the type of, that women naturally just love being mothers. Let's just put it that way. This is with no disrespect to you ladies. So you're conflicted, right? Anyway, that's my thought in the beginning here. Let's get to this interesting blog here, and I'll share more with you. All right, this is from The Observer, and the title is, "It is time to stop bullying 30-something women about their biological clocks." One more time. It is time to stop bullying women. Sorry, it is time to stop bullying 30-something women about their biological clocks. If we could all agree to stop pressuring women, no matter how old they are, into baby making, the truth is that the world be a much better place for me, at least. I think you left out the word "would be a much better place for me, at least." Let's read this one more time. If we could all agree to stop pressuring women, no matter how old they are, into baby making, the truth is that the world would be a much better place for me, at least. This was written by Melanie Berliet on November 23rd, 2016. So this was written about a little over 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. Still very, very relevant to the modern world. This has been happening for 5 to 10 years now, folks. It's more apparent now, but it started becoming very apparent right at the time she wrote this, about 5, almost 6 years ago, November 23rd, 2016. There's a pregnant belly right there. All right. This cracked me up. My lady is going to love this. "Get that thing out of you," my boyfriend's cousin exclaimed after learning about my IUD. An IUD is an intrauterine device. It's one of the best semi-permanent methods of birth control a woman can take nowadays. My woman's still currently on it, even though she's going through menopause. Until you fully go through menopause, you can still technically get pregnant. And my last, 3 girlfriends before that were on the IUD. Very effective. Very effective. Let's see. A few bottles of wine into celebrating the 40-something's birthday at a casual, chic French restaurant. She had asked when I was finally going to have a baby. That's a fair question. To drive home the point that I still wasn't quite ready, I pointed to the 99% effective birth control device implanted in my uterus, which emits copper ions toxic to my boyfriend's most determined little swimmers. Man, this woman is bitter. This woman, honestly, I think more so, doesn't love herself and is just very angry and bitter at herself, or feels she's lacking in some other way. Because if she was, a happy, normal, down-to-earth woman, she would have no problem wanting to have a child. That's a part of a woman's natural and biological essence of being a woman. Anyway, of course, I recognize that her comment was born out of respect for my relationship with her cousin and a sincere desire for us to experience the joys of building a family. She was asking you a very nice question. She loves what you two have, and she sees that you two are happy together. And, she's just saying what most people have always said throughout the inception of time, that, hey, you two going to plan on having a family sometime soon, That's what people have always said throughout the inception of time. But in the modern world, because women have been liberated and they're flexing their muscles more than ever nowadays, right? Women are saying, we don't need to be baby-making machines. I'm not ready to have a kid. Well, why not? You're almost 40 years old, right? So why not? Well, no, she's 34. Sorry. I saw that below there. I'm sorry. And I already read this, so sorry I forgot that. Let's see. Still, I wasn't thrilled to receive yet another reminder that my biological clock is ticking every single second. Because it is, ma'am. Ma'am, that's just biology. I mean, seriously, ma'am. If you finally decide that you want to have a child or try to have a child at age 45 or 46, even if you still get your period and you haven't gone through menopause, the chances of you getting pregnant are going to be far less, like 1% or less. And even if you get pregnant, the chances that you have issues with, your pregnancy are going to skyrocket. I mean, that's the thing. This is a very angry and bitter woman. And she's probably been infested by, other empowered women saying that, ladies, we don't need a man for anything. Ladies, we can do it on our own. Ladies, you don't need to be baby making machines and all that kind of stuff, right? This is what this woman is hearing in her head, right? And, the cousin involved here, saying, I have a sincere desire. They have a sincere desire for us to experience the joys of building a family. Yeah, they're just being nice to you. They want to see you happy. They want to see you, continue the family legacy on both ends of your families. What's wrong with that? At 34, I'm on the cusp of that harrowing age so many widely accepted pregnancy statistics seem to hinge upon. Yeah, once you hit 35, your fertility declines significantly. And it even declines further significantly at 40. Okay? Fear-mongering. Oh, come on. See this woman's language here, fear-mongering? When you use words like this is nothing but a very angry and bitter woman that's not happy with the way her life is going, or, just something internally is just not sparking the right way inside of her, Fear-mongering medical professionals, fertility specialists, advertisers, and well-meaning family members love to assert that 35 is the year a woman's eggs instantaneously become less viable. They do. You have fewer eggs at that point, ma'am, and your fertility level drops. If I remember correctly, women in their 30s, as they hit 30, their chances of conceiving, are about 30%. And I think after 35, it goes to 20% or something like that. 20 or 15%, something like that, or even 10%. And then it goes down at 40. I think it goes down to like 1% or something like that around there. I mean, ma'am, those are just the biological facts. That's the way it goes. Okay? If you're lucky enough to get pregnant at such an advanced age, they all seem to scoff the risks of miscarrying or giving birth to a disease-riddled child suddenly skyrocket. It's true, ma'am. It's the truth. I mean, I'm a man, and I know that. I'm a man, and I know that. Wow. 30-something women are constantly bombarded with infertility horror stories, snippet upon snippet of anecdotal evidence about friends intend to demonstrate that if you wait too much longer, you're destined to get fucked by Mother Nature. Well, ma'am, those are just the biological facts. And there's nothing wrong about what you've quoted here. I mean, it's 100% spot on. We're shamed into believing that our limited supply of eggs might soon be entirely worthless and urged to consider egg freezing, an intensive procedure that costs an astounding $10,000 on average just in case. Well, if you want to have kids down the road, and you want to, what do you call it? What is that called? You have a surrogate. It's a surrogate, I believe, is what it's called. Then that's what you do. But you're 34 years old. You still have, a good at least 5 to 6 years of decent fertility. And, before 40, is the best time and the least risky time for, you to have kids, healthy kids. All right, let's see. I know this because I am a 34-year-old woman and I can't seem to escape this dreadful feeling that if I don't get knocked up in the next 12 months, I will miss my shot at carrying a pregnancy to term altogether. This woman is angry and bitter. Like, she's getting angry about people encouraging her to do one of the most natural and beautiful, amazing things that women were created to do, is give birth to beautiful children, and they can become mothers. That's part of a woman's natural and biological essence, right? This is ridiculous. It's not just her, it's many women that feel this way. Let's see. The other day I found myself staring at a bottle of prenatal vitamins at the pharmacy, seriously contemplating purchasing the overpriced gummies, even though that IUD is still very much lodged inside me. You keep mentioning that IUD, man. Like, God. I don't even know what more to say. In the last few months, I've Googled things like, how fast do a woman's eggs actually shrivel up? More often than I'd like to admit. This is the funniest blog I've ever read. You went through puberty 4 years late, so you must have more grade A gametes than most females your age. She's actually really funny. I got to say, this chick is funny. I tend to coach myself while assessing my reproductive health with questionable internet fertility calculators. Why don't you just go see your doctor, ma'am? My 35th birthday looms ahead, taunting me with the promise of missed opportunities and lifelong regrets if I don't spread my legs and invite some sperm instead. Wow. Wow. If I was this woman's man and I saw her write this, I'd sit down and talk with her and say, baby, what's going on? No one's against you. No one's trying to shame you. This is just the truth. You either want to have kids before it's too late or you don't. That's it. That's the bottom line. And yet, more and more research demonstrates that popularized notions regarding women's fertility are totally bogus. Everything that you've read about it and you heard about it is the absolute truth. After 35, fertility goes down significantly, and even more significantly at 40. That's the bottom line. Doesn't mean you can't have healthy kids after 35 or 40, but it is a riskier thing at that time. The Impatient Women's Guide to Getting Pregnant, Jean Twenge, contests the widespread belief that 1 in 3 women over 35 will fail to get pregnant after a year of trying, noting that the claim is based on an analysis of French birth records dated 1670 to 1830. Luckily, medicine has made some pretty significant strides since the 18th century. In fact, about 80% of women aged 35 to 39 succeed in getting pregnant naturally today, a slight decline from the fertility rate of women aged 27 to 34. Well, that's true, man. And what people are saying is that your best shot of having happy and healthy kids and it just, having kids that, have no defects or anything are having them before 40. Okay? But you're 34, ma'am. And it might take you a year to even get pregnant, right? If you start trying now, you'll be pregnant sometime in your, mid 35-year-old, in the middle of your 35-year-old age. I can't even talk. When you're 35 and a half. There we go. Get the words out, Eli. Right? And so if you want to have a second kid, you have to try right away afterwards and hopefully get pregnant within a year. But typically what I've heard is if a woman gets pregnant and has a kid, she can get, pregnant more easily the second time around, even in the late 30s. So, yeah, you're right here. No one's saying that you can't have happy and healthy kids, in your mid 30s, but if you wait until your early 40s, the chances of that significantly drop. Let's see here. In a 2014 study published by the Boston University School of Medicine, researchers even discovered that women who had their last child at 33 or older without the help of drugs lived longer than those who had their last child by 29. A correlation and not evidence of causation necessarily, but a notable phenomenon nonetheless. And for those who have trouble conceiving, IVF treatments, though cripplingly expensive, which is what I'm trying to say, are quickly becoming more effective. Yeah, but they're not guaranteed, and they cost a lot of money each time you try. The natural way is the best way to do it. You're looking at your options of doing things unnaturally. She's making excuses, right? She's saying, oh, I still have time to decide. Ma'am, you're 34 years old. You're 34 years old. You've been thinking about this since you were, 18? So, ma'am, if you haven't figured out whether you want to have kids or not over the last 15 years, are you ever going to figure it out, ma'am? Decide yes or no, and then drop it. That's it. You don't want to have kids? Don't have kids. But then tell your man, if he wants to have kids, it's not going to happen with you. If he wants to have kids, it's not going to work out. That's it. That's the way to handle it. Not come out here on the internet and then spew your frustrations, which I can understand coming from a woman's standpoint. You're emotional and you're frustrated. But the bottom line, ma'am, is everything you mentioned here is just the facts. That's it. I'm tired of the narratives we feed women about pregnancy. We caution young ladies that if they wait to procreate, they'll face devastating setbacks down the line. We tell them that their bodies were built to carry babies sooner rather than later, i.e. now. We say there's never a right time to have a child, as if women should drop everything and get preggers. Get preggers, man. This woman is really, really a work of art. Regardless of how prepared they actually feel financially, emotionally, or otherwise. Well, ma'am, if you don't feel like you're in the right space and never will be, you got to let the guy that you're with know, or any guy that you're with know. You got to be upfront about it. You're not interested in having any kids. That's it. If the right time never arrives, is it so crazy to presume that a woman might not be cut out for motherhood after all? That's for you to decide, ma'am. But, you got to decide sooner than later, ma'am, especially if you're with somebody, right? You're with a guy and the cousin really loves what you have with him. And maybe the guy you're with wants to have kids, right? If he wants to have kids, ma'am, you got to let him know. You got to decide now. Because if he wants to have kids, he's going to leave you and find someone who wants to have kids, right? Or maybe you're not telling him now because you actually like him, or maybe he's taking care of you financially for the time being in some way, shape, or form. You got to be honest, ma'am. You're not being honest. You're not being honest with your man and other people, that are involved in his family. That's the bottom line. That's what's happening here. Let's see. I have a hard time understanding the value in pushing a woman into a decision as life-changing as becoming a parent. No one's pushing you into it, man. They're just making you aware. If you wait too long, it's not going to happen, even if you decide to want it to happen later on down the road. On the other hand, the downside to forcing someone into a role they're not yet psyched to play, ma'am, if you're not naturally and biologically wanting to have a child, then just let the people know you don't want to do it. Sounds like to me, ma'am, you just don't ever want to have children. Sounds like maybe you're one of those women that was just not meant to be a mother, or you just don't want to be a mother. You don't have that maternal instinct. You don't. Most women get that naturally, and I'm sure you had it at one point, but I'm sure that women's lib and, working and being independent and being able to do other things that you wouldn't be able to do having a kid have affected you from having that maternal instinct. Ma'am, it's sad. This is happening to a lot of women nowadays. It's the truth. What I'm saying here is the truth. Okay? Especially one that involves risking their life to host a parasite for 9 long. A parasite. Now I've had enough of this woman. Now this is ridiculous. especially one that involves risking their life to host a parasite for 9 long months of potential discomfort before bringing a super needy infant into the world, seems quite obvious. Ma'am, you've got some issues in your head. Like if I wouldn't date a woman like this. Even women that don't want to have kids would not behave this way. They'd say, hey, it's just not for me. It's not something I ever wanted to do. I don't feel that maternal instinct. But hey, to other women, go for it, right? This woman has other mental and emotional issues that stem beyond this. If I was this dude's woman, I'd be, see you later. I'm out. Peace out. This is ridiculous here. Ridiculous. Does anything good come out of reluctant motherhood? Perhaps. But I'd argue that it leads to a lot of bad too. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. There's nothing more beautiful and precious and amazing in this world than bringing a child into this world. Even as a man, I can say that. If we could all agree to stop pressuring women, no matter how old they are, into baby making, the truth is that the world, and she quoted the same thing she did above and left out the same word, would be a much better place for me, at least. Well, ma'am, for you, exactly, for you. The key word is, or the key phrase is for you. Not all women are like this, ma'am. Not all people are like this. It seems like to me, let's go back to full screen here. It seems like to me that you're just angry and bitter about something regarding yourself. You don't love something about yourself, right? You're an angry and bitter person. And, again, it's your choice whether you want to have kids or not, but that's something that you should decide before getting into a relationship. Because, if you, have been dating this guy for a while and, he mentioned, he wants to get married and have kids one day, and you said, oh, okay, that sounds cool. I'm not ready for it yet, but, down the road, let's talk about it down the road. If that's what you said, you basically gave him hope. And if that's not what you meant, then you were leading him on. And you have been wasting his time. And practically your time as well too, ma'am, because now you both are getting emotionally attached. You probably are. And even if you decide to not have kids and he wants to have kids, he'd have to leave you and get with somebody else. And that would hurt the both of you emotionally. Like, this is just what's happening to women nowadays is they are conflicted, with women's lib. They are conflicted. Women more so care about asserting their rights. Not all, but many women more so care about asserting their rights than living their life in the ways they were meant to be naturally and biologically. And that's where I'm going to wrap up this video here today, folks. So thank you for taking the time to view this video. Another video is coming to this channel soon. Please like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications, and that way you won't miss anything. And with that being said, have yourself a great day. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.